I've been doing a live almost every day except for the weekend. And so I was like, what's going to be my topic today? And I thought about it last night, and after having some conversations with the community on here, I have decided to do the topic of become your own island. And so this concept I got from a book, but it is also very much a part of one of the balances we do in kinesiology. So my background is in kinesiology, and in America, kinesiology is very similar to exercise science, exercise physiology. And here in Australia and a few different other places, the kinesiology that I studied is actually a very holistic approach. We work on someone's emotions, on their mental state, on their physical health, on their nutrition, making sure that their body is chemically and mechanically together. And so I've got my little boys in the background. And so what happened was chiropractors went around the world and studied 300 different balances from all over the place to help their clients holistically heal, because they didn't just want to fix their spine and then the client to go out into their life and feel the stress and for that alignment to come out. So I studied kinesiology for about 4 years, quite a while back now. So yeah, it's an amazing philosophy, and so a lot of it is about training the mind to overcome things in the past and also currently. And so one of the balances that we do is about rewriting trauma. So when you have a memory of the past that is traumatic, you have a memory, and they've showed in different places that your memory is actually not necessarily the exact memory of how it took place. So you might have this memory and it's not actually how it happened, but it's how your brain has interpreted it and remembered it. So what we do in kinesiology is we want memories to not be a trigger. And so what can happen, as an example, say you're in a car accident, and afterwards, every time you see the color blue and you don't even realize it, you suddenly get anxious, you feel sick, your neck feels in pain, and you don't even know why. And you've tried everything to fix those symptoms and it's just not working. So what's happening is your brain took a photograph of the blue car that hit you in an accident. And so because your mind took a picture of that blue car in an accident, every time you see a blue car or a blue anything, your mind remembers that. And so it's trying to protect you. Hello, Vicky. So because it's trying to protect you, you don't realize that you're having all of these symptoms just because you were in a car accident with a blue car. So in what I practice in kinesiology is we want to make sure that seeing the color blue is no longer an issue. So my topic today is becoming your own island, and I'm just sharing at this point what that means and how in what I've studied we use this method. This method is actually from a book, however, it's very simple to what I practice. Am I a doctor? No, I am a kinesiologist and I am also a coach. And so this is methods that we use to help retrain the brain. I'm well, thank you. How are you? Yes, so since there are a few of you popping on, to re-explain. So what happens is if you have a trauma, as an example, if you are in a car accident and say a car that is the color blue hits you, when you see the color blue, your mind is trying to protect you, and it can often, because it's trying to protect you, give you symptoms that you thought maybe you'd healed. So if you're in a car accident and you hurt your neck, every time you see the color blue, your neck injury might play up. And so a lot of time people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on fixing their body through doctors, through going to physical therapists, but it's actually the mind that's trying to protect you from something. So in what I do is I help the mind no longer find that a trigger. However, the concept of being your own island is a slightly different, but it's based on this balance. So what can happen is if you have a very traumatic event that you can remember going back in your past, your mind, it didn't necessarily remember it exactly the way it happened. It remembers it the way it best can. So maybe you had a fight with someone and it was this big, huge fight, and maybe in actual time it wasn't as big as from the outside, it might not have been as big, but your memory remembers that. And so what we do is we try and remember that event as being something funny or as something that is really unrealistic. And so what this helps the mind to do is let go of all the things that it saw and did, so that that particular event no longer becomes a trigger. So let's use the example of having a fight with someone. So what we get the client to do is go back and remember that event as though it is a movie, and you play out the movie and how you remember it, and then we go back and we change the characters. So the person that you were having a fight with, maybe you'll remember them as whatever you find funny. So maybe like a giant clown or a giant elephant or something to you that is not stressful, is something like a huge giant praying mantis, or something to you that's not stressful. And then you'll play back that movie in your mind, the events, but instead of that person being a person that triggers you, they're now becoming this totally different character. And so that's the balance that we did. Shutter Island movie. That was a bit of a what was it? A thriller. A bit. I liked that movie, but thank you. So yes, imagining whatever it is, and so this then helps you. So if the person you're having a fight with, maybe they have dark hair, so and maybe it's a female. Let's use me. You had a fight with me, and so every time you see someone with dark hair, light skin, every time you hear someone with a similar voice to mine, that could cause you a trigger because you remember having that fight with that person. So every time you meet someone who looks similar to me, things don't go well because your mind is trying to protect you. I just have to pick up my little one. He wants to hop up. And so, come on, Devin. And so in that balance, that's how we remove those issues. It's the same as a car. So we go back and we try and remove the trauma of the car hitting you. And in this specific method that I use, that you become your own island, is a way to, how long does it take? A session, are you asking? Or how long does it take to rewrite the memory, Vicky? If you could, a session with a kinesiologist usually takes an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on if it's your, whether it's your first session or not. I have 2 little boys, so I don't usually do one-on-one sessions like that, but there are kinesiologists around the world. I know there's quite a few that do online as well. I think they're very helpful if you're trying to get rid of a lot of traumas. I do more lifestyle advising, so I do 3 and 6 and 12 month packages, and we work on all of your life and getting rid of that. Whereas when you go to a kinesiologist, it's usually PTSD. Yeah, that's a big one. There's a lot of PTSD in a lot of different areas of life as well. And so, yeah, usually when you go to a kinesiologist, usually a minimum of 3 sessions is really good, but you can take all the things that are going on for you, all your different symptoms, and the kinesiologist can help just clear those for you. But the specific topic about being your own island is something that I do in my life. And just one moment. Hi, my darling. Okay, what would you like help with? I will be with you guys in one moment. My little one just wants some help. And don't press that other. This is more trains. I don't think you'd like that, baby. There you go. Yes, sorry about that one. I got 2 little ones and doing my best to get these in. Okay, come here. You're okay. Yes, so being your own island is the concept of, there's a lot of relationship issues in the world, whether that's with, your intimate partner, whether that's with your family. A lot of people, we grow up being taught. Have you seen Mr. Bean? I love Mr. Bean. Yes, hilarious show. So a lot of people are having, like relationship issues, and also there is a lot of, in the world, like people pleasing, and that sort of thing, whereas the concept of becoming your own island means that you imagine that you're living on a beautiful island. Whatever that looks like to you, might be like a Caribbean island, or it might be like in a forest, whatever really feels good to you. It might be a beautiful open space. You can imagine your beautiful home. Whatever feels really peaceful and exciting to you. And that's your island. So if you have you can do this for just you. You can also do this with your partner, and they can be on your island. So anytime you don't know how to resolve an issue with someone, or you're feeling like you're thinking too much about other people, or you've had some sort of trauma with someone, what you can imagine is that you're living on your island and you get to decide that they do not get to come on your island. And so you can imagine however you want to that they can't come on your island. So maybe you've got like a huge amount of water around your island and they cannot come on. Or, you might put up a wall of fire, whatever that looks like to you. So in kinesiology, we always let the client imagine it from their mind, what it looks like. We give suggestions, but it's all about what it feels like and looks like for you. And so when maybe you're going through something with someone, just taking a minute, going and lying down, closing your eyes, or sitting in a chair and imagining yourself on your island and that person is on the other island. It might also be something you're trying to work on. I speak English, that question there. And so, but I'm from Australia. And so you might be struggling with something in your life that's not a person. So maybe your job is really stressful, or your your health is really stressful. So what you can imagine is that that thing is on the other side of away from your island, and that puts distance between you and the thing that you are stressing over or struggling with, and it helps you to find peace within you. So often if something's going on externally for my husband and I, we will sit there and we will think of the most funny, outrageous things that, maybe a cannon fires over to the other side of the island so that a person cannot come onto our island. And I just find it a very relaxing thing that you can do. I've created the concept to be bigger than what it originally was, using the tools that I have. But the book is that I read about the specific island part is in the book called Untamed. And so I love books. I read a lot. And yeah, I really adopted that one in my life. So anytime, maybe, people cutting me off in traffic, I don't really mind that sort of thing. But I do, if someone is disrespectful or someone is rude, I often will go away after and just go back to my island, imagine my beautiful island with my family on my island, and that person is over there. They cannot, crocodiles, or because we've got crocodiles in Australia, or alligators in the other world, might be trying to come after them and they're running away. That sort of thing from that. And just, really distancing yourself from the stress that's going on in your life, because often we actually see we often see a stress playing out bigger than it is, and a lot of the time, like, the person, we don't know what they're personally going through. Bye. And I love the little laughing face. I'm guessing that's about the crocodiles trying to eat them. Yeah, sometimes we just don't know what's going on for that person. Maybe they had a really bad day, maybe someone was really rude to them, and I just think this is a beautiful concept. It can be fun and funny, and just imagining this beautiful island. And so my kids are only little, but this is like a technique that I will teach them to come back to themselves, come home to themselves, and to not let the outside world dictate how they feel and how they experience the world. And a lot of the time, like my husband and I will just say, if it's like something's going on with a person, we'll just say that person's been kicked off the island for 6 months. And it might not end up being 6 months, but we're just like, okay, that person is off the island for 6 months. They can't come visit us. And then we just let the universe, God, our higher selves, their higher selves, whatever you want to call it, work out whatever's going in their life, and we focus on our life. So I would love for you guys to try it, and you can come back and comment how it went for you. But my channel is all about how to create your own life, and a lot of times we spend so much energy and thinking about things that are out there that we can't necessarily control. We can't control other people and what they do and how they experience life, but we can control how we feel and how we experience life. And our world is very addicted to drama. It's very addicted to stress, and a lot of people feel like they're spinning their wheels, like they don't know how to get out of that. And rather than concentrating on the big things in life and creating a life that feels really peaceful and enjoyable, and focusing on how to make your life bigger and better, we're focusing a lot on other people and the stresses of our life. So that's a concept that I love. The book Untamed is quite interesting. It is about a lady who is a writer, and she talks about her family and their experiences. This concept is it's not a huge chapter of the book. It doesn't really have any recommendations on how to do it. So I thought I would come on here and share how you can use that. Do you go on a sport? What do you mean, do I go on a sport? As in, do I like a sport? Is that your question? Happy to answer any questions that anyone has. Also, if this replay, I'm not actually a big sport person. I don't play sport, and we don't watch sport. That's not a part of. I've been to live games. If I was going to go to a sport, I've been to. We've got football here in Australia. I also don't mind the tennis, which is a little bit slow, but I grew up watching tennis. So to answer your question there, thank you for asking the question. So yeah, that's the concept of that one, and really helping, I believe in really helping people to learn simple ways to release stress and to feel really good about their life. And yeah, I studied kinesiology to really help myself. It's helped many other people. I was part of a clinic. I worked in a clinic, and I've also run my own business in that and taken on clients. I've just taken a few years off doing that sort of one-on-one work. I could either, like right now where I am in my life, I could hire a place. I could also do it online, or I could do it from home. But I have two little boys, And for me, that doesn't feel like the best method to do it. I actually have clients where I help them with these sort of things that come up for them, but we do it through WhatsApp. So they'll ask me questions and they'll be going through something, and I can respond as soon as I have a moment with my boys, like through voice, like very similar to this, or a video, or we message each other. And so that feels like a really good way for me at the moment to help people. And also, I find, so with being a kinesiologist, you often have clients who will come. I've had clients come every week. I had a client that would come every week for a year, I think it was, just to really get rid of those stresses and traumas. And I find that you don't necessarily need to have a whole long hour session unless you're really looking to get rid of a whole lot of traumas at once. I find a lot of people just need someone to talk to. They can help them with tools to get rid of whatever's going on for them in the moment. And that's why I studied kinesiology, to learn all of these tools, because a lot of people go to therapy, and therapy is wonderful in the right circumstances. But I did have a client tell me that she came to me for, I think it was after our second session, she had been going to see a therapist for 14 years, and after 2 sessions, she said the issue had cleared. That she had been working on for 2 years. Thank you. That's a very kind for you to say. So I was just like, wow, a lot of people are going to therapy and to psychologists and to their doctor. I'll give you an example for me. And one of the reasons I really believe in, going and seeing the right practitioner or seeing a coach, is that I went to the doctor and I was just not feeling quite myself. I was feeling just a little bit down, and this was years and years ago. And the doctor wanted to put me on antidepressants. Now, she had talked to me for all of 5 minutes. And because I had had some training behind me already, and I was definitely did not want to go down that path, I just asked her, can you please run a blood test? And because I'd already been to university and I could read my own blood work, she ordered the blood work, and it actually came out that I was vitamin D deficient. And what had happened was I had moved to a town that had a lot of rain and not a lot of sunshine, and I wasn't taking a vitamin D supplement, and that can cause hormonal issues. It can cause brain imbalance because you're not getting enough of that vitamin D, which is a precursor to hormones, especially happy, healthy hormones. Um, I went and got a vitamin D supplement, and I was fine. And so I think doctors are amazing at what they're doing. Like, if you need surgery, I cannot perform surgery on myself or on my family. And, I think I will never discredit a doctor for what they're doing. There's some amazing doctors out there that I've been listening to that have really phenomenal information that's coming out. They're not just doing the traditional doctor information, they're giving a more of a holistic approach. And I just think that someone to listen to. I find also a lot of people are having relationship issues because rather than sorting themselves out, they are having fights with people around them and sharing all their stress and trauma rather than actually going and working with someone. So I'm really enjoying having this YouTube channel to share some simple tips and tools and to guide and encourage people where to get some amazing tools and some help and how to make our life really happy and successful. So if you have any thoughts or comments or topics that you would like me to discuss, feel free to comment on this video when it comes up or another one. I find that these lives take a little bit longer to upload. It seems to take like 12 to 24 hours. So, but you're more than welcome to comment on another video and I can read it and I can come on here and discuss another topic. Thank you, Vicky. That's so kind of you. Yeah, I don't think there's enough information out there on how to. I mean, it's very popular to do journaling, which I think is amazing. I journal almost every day to get all my thoughts and feelings out. And because I don't like I said, a lot of people are very addicted to drama, and I'm focusing more on creating my own life than allowing drama into my life. So if something happens, I'll go and journal and work out what's going on, and then use some of my tools that I have. I also to share, like, because I absolutely believe in creating your own success in life and up-leveling your own world. My 11-month-old is looking in the mirror laughing at himself. To share that I had a lot of people tell me very negative things when I was pregnant with my first son. But I actually ended up having him accidentally at home on the toilet in a very short amount of time. And I ended up having my second son even quicker at home. And so I, with each pregnancy, went into my own world and I didn't allow anyone else to tell me how it's going to be. And I really focused on my own body, my own health, the baby, and learning all the tools that I could. We became an island. I became my own island, and anytime someone tried to tell me anything otherwise, I had some midwives I had some beautiful midwives, but I also had some very stressed out, controlling midwives that I just didn't listen to what they had to say because I decided I was going to be a woman who didn't become overweight being pregnant. I decided I was going to have a really short pregnancy, and I was going to have the best experience possible, and I did. And I had this midwife tell me that I wasn't putting on enough weight, so I was going to have a small baby. I had a friend say the same thing to me, and I didn't. He was so perfectly weighted, and they're both very smart and clever and walked earlier than most kids. And oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a beautiful ring. And yeah, so it was an amazing experience. And so I also want to come on here and share examples of my life where I have done things that are not how other people have done them. And
Thank you for saying that I'm a strong woman. Yeah. After I had my first son, I got told that I was like a super woman when everyone asked my birth story. And the reason that I accidentally had my son at home was because when my husband called the midwife, she asked to talk to me, and one of their measurements of whether or not you're ready to come into the hospital is whether or not you can talk to your midwife on the phone. And because I wasn't experiencing the pain level that a lot of people do, I don't have a really high like pain threshold or anything like that. I had just trained my mind not to feel the pain in the way other people experience it. Is she said to me, because you can talk to me on the phone, I don't think you should come in for another hour at least, because if you come in and you're not dilated enough, we're going to have to send you home. Little did she know I was almost fully dilated. I can't tell you how dilated because I don't really know. And so, yeah, I went to the bathroom, and I couldn't get off the toilet, and I gave birth to my own son. And we went into the hospital after he was born, but the next morning, I was fine. I didn't even feel like I did really had a child. Like I knew I'd had a baby, but the horrific things that you see and hear, I hadn't experienced that. So that is one thing that I'm sharing my journey of. I loved my pregnancies. I was quite sick in my like my son's pulling down books. Uh, I did have really bad morning sickness with my second child. I'll openly discuss that situation wasn't perfect, but I found out later that was because my body hormonally wasn't ready. I had my two sons quite close together. And you were born at 6 a.m. That's a good time. A lot of babies are born at night time. Both my boys were born at night time, and that may be because that's what my midwife had told me, that babies are usually born at night. But yeah, so I had an amazing experience except for that morning sickness. If I was to ever have kids again, which we're not planning on having anymore, we love having two. I would make sure that it was my liver, the hormones. Probably, I don't know if they were left over from my first pregnancy, but it just wasn't a lot of space in between for my body to be able to tolerate all those new hormones again. What are you doing? So yeah, I'm having fun doing these lives and hopefully continue doing a new topic every day. I'll have to think about what my one tomorrow will be. But thank you all for joining me, and I love it's funny and not funny, but it's fun to see people logging on and watching. And I sometimes do these on Instagram, but thank you for being here. But I think it's just with people you know. It's not like worldwide where people can, from this start following you. But hi. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments, or I will be putting my email address on here if people have comments or topics they would like me to discuss. It's so nice meeting people. I also decided to do a YouTube channel because I love the idea of having a tribe and people who want to have the same sort of discussions. I find meeting a lot of people in day-to-day life As an example, I went to the playground with my children, and our mum just started talking about how tired she is, how expensive kids are, and that's just not my thing. So having a YouTube channel where I can meet people all over the world and have amazing discussions on how to make life better and more beautiful is where I want to be in the world. So thank you guys for joining me, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.